The massive Empire ship hung in space like a dark cloud over Earth's moon. Its golden hull reflected sunlight, creating an intimidating display of power. Inside the United Defense Force headquarters on Earth, Admiral Stone watched the live feed with steady eyes. He had seen many threats in his 30 years of service, but this one made his stomach turn. "They're scanning our entire solar system, sir," reported Lieutenant Baker from his station. "Their energy readings are off the charts. Nothing like we've ever seen before." Admiral Stone nodded slowly. He had hoped humanity's first contact with alien life would be peaceful. The Empire's arrival 3 days ago had crushed that hope. Their first message had been simple: submit or die. "Open a channel," Stone ordered. "Let's try one more time to reason with them." The communications officer worked quickly. On the main screen, the face of Supreme Commander Marcus appeared. His blue-tinted skin and silver eyes marked him as different from humans, but his expression of contempt was all too familiar. "Have you made your decision, primitive ones?" Marcus asked, his voice dripping with arrogance. "Will you bow to the Empire's rule?" Stone stepped forward. "Supreme Commander, we ask again for peaceful dialogue. Earth has no quarrel with your Empire. We're willing to discuss trade, cultural exchange, even limited cooperation, but we will not submit to rule by force." Marcus laughed, the sound echoing through the command center. "You mistake this for a negotiation. Your species has barely mastered space travel. Your weapons are primitive. Your cities are unprotected. The Empire has ruled the galaxy for 10,000 years. We do not negotiate with savages." "Then let me be clear," Stone replied, his voice hard as steel. "We're warning you one last time. Leave our solar system. We've spent our entire history fighting ourselves. We've mastered the art of war through countless conflicts. You think us weak because we're young to space travel, but we're old hands at survival. Threats from a species that still uses combustion engines." Marcus smiled. "Perhaps we should give you a demonstration of real power." The transmission cut off. Seconds later, alarms blared throughout the command center. "Multiple energy signatures detected," Baker shouted. "They're targeting our lunar colonies." Stone watched in horror as beams of light struck the lunar surface, but his horror turned to grim satisfaction as the beams passed harmlessly through the colonies. "Holographic projections holding, sir," reported Captain Roy. "All real facilities safely underground. Their scans missed our true infrastructure completely." Stone allowed himself a small smile. Humanity had learned long ago not to build important facilities where they could be easily seen. Years of planning for potential alien contact had not been wasted. "Sir, the Empire ships are moving," Baker announced. "They're spreading out for a full attack formation." "Send the signal," Stone ordered. "All forces, Operation Dark Forest is now active." Throughout the solar system, humanity's real military strength stirred to life. Stealth satellites armed with rail guns powered up. Asteroid bases activated their engines. Nuclear submarines retrofitted for space combat emerged from hiding spots in Saturn's rings. And deep in underground bunkers, Earth's quantum AI defense systems came online. "Message from all commands, sir," Roy reported. "Ready for combat operations." Stone looked at the Empire fleet, still maneuvering with complete confidence in their superior technology. They had no idea that humanity had spent decades preparing for this exact scenario. The Admiral touched the gold wedding band on his finger, thinking of his family safe in the deep shelters below ground. "Send one final message to the Empire," he commanded. On every Empire ship, screens lit up with the same simple text: "We warned you to run. Remember that in the days to come." All units, Stone's voice was calm and clear. Execute primary defense plan. Show them why you don't pick a fight with humanity. As the first rail gunshots streaked across space at near-light speed, Stone whispered a prayer not for victory, but for survival. Humanity had faced extinction-level threats before, from its own nuclear weapons to killer asteroids. They had survived it all. Now it was time to show the galaxy that humans weren't just survivors. They were warriors, and they had been ready for this fight for a very long time. Supreme Commander Marcus stared at the damage report in disbelief. 3 of his most advanced warships had been destroyed in the opening minutes of battle. Not damaged or disabled, destroyed. Their mighty shields had failed to stop the primitive metal projectiles that moved at impossible speeds. How? He demanded, slamming his fist on the command console. How are they doing this? His science officer trembled. Sir, the humans, they're using weapons we never considered. Simple metal rods accelerated to near light speed. Our energy shields are designed to stop plasma and laser weapons, not physical objects moving that fast. In the darkness of space between Mars and Jupiter, Captain Rogers watched the Empire fleet through his stealth ship's viewport. His small task force of converted nuclear submarines had been waiting for this moment for years. The old submarines, designed to hide in Earth's oceans, had proven perfect for space warfare. Their thick hulls, already built to withstand extreme pressure, needed only minor modifications for space travel. All ships, execute attack pattern Delta, Rogers ordered quietly. Remember your training. Stay in their blind spots. Hit and fade. The human ships moved silently through space, their cold-running engines leaving no heat signature for the Empire's sensors to detect. They had studied the enemy's sensor capabilities carefully during the first engagement. The Empire, it seemed, had grown too reliant on detecting energy signatures and had forgotten about basic visual observation. The first Empire supply ship never saw what hit it. A spread of kinetic rounds tore through its engine section, sending it spinning out of control. Before the Empire fleet could respond, Rogers' ships had vanished again into the darkness of space. Another supply convoy destroyed, reported Lord Reed to Supreme Commander Marcus. We've lost contact with our forward base as well. These humans, they're not fighting like any species we've encountered before. Marcus gripped his chair tightly. They're savages. They should be cowering in fear. Instead, they're hunting us like we're prey. On Earth, Admiral Stone reviewed the battle reports with grim satisfaction. The Empire's casualties were mounting, while human losses remained minimal. Their strategy of using simple but effective weapons was working perfectly. Sir, Lieutenant Baker called out, Empire ships are moving into position around Mars. They're charging their main weapons. Stone nodded calmly. Just as we expected. Activate the Mars defense grid. As the Empire ships prepared to bombard the Red Planet, thousands of hidden gun batteries emerged from the Martian soil. A hail of tungsten rods filled space, each one moving at a significant fraction of light speed. The Empire's mighty dreadnoughts, designed to withstand energy weapons, found their shields useless against simple physics. Impossible. Marcus screamed as he watched another of his ships torn apart. They're nothing but primitives. How are they doing this? The answer came in the form of a transmission from Earth. Admiral Stone's face appeared on the Empire's screens. You ask how we're doing this. Stone's voice was steady. We've spent thousands of years fighting ourselves. Every weapon you see was developed to kill other humans. We've mastered the art of killing, Supreme Commander. And unlike you, we never forgot the basics while reaching for the stars. In the space around Jupiter, Captain Rogers prepared his fleet for another strike. The Empire ships were starting to bunch up defensively, exactly what his gunners had trained for. All ships, prepare for mass fire mission, he ordered. Let's remind them why humanity warned them to run. The battle was far from over, but the Empire was learning a harsh lesson. They had expected to find primitive savages. Instead, they had awakened a species that had turned war into an art form. A species that had spent its entire history preparing for fights exactly like this one. As another Empire ship exploded in the darkness of space, Supreme Commander Marcus finally began to understand the truth. His empire hadn't found another primitive species to conquer. They had found humanity. And humanity had been ready for war. Director Collins stood in Earth's primary AI command center, watching as thousands of computer cores processed combat data in real time. The walls were covered with holographic displays showing every aspect of the ongoing space battle. Her team had spent decades preparing Earth's digital defenses, and now they were proving their worth. "Ma'am," called out one of her technicians, "we've cracked another portion of their communication codes. The Empire is completely changing their shield frequencies." Collins smiled. "Let me guess, they think we're using some advanced technology to penetrate their shields." "Yes, Mom. They still don't understand we're just using rocks moving really fast." In high orbit, a captured Empire cruiser floated dead in space. Human engineers swarmed over its hull in advanced spacesuits, their tools carefully taking apart the alien technology. What they found made them laugh. The Empire's advanced tech was actually quite simple once you got past its flashy exterior. "Sir," reported Chief Engineer Walker to Admiral Stone, "their weapons are basically just fancy versions of our particle accelerators. We can replicate this tech with our current manufacturing capabilities. Better yet, we can improve it." Stone nodded. "How long until we can start producing our own versions?" "A week, maybe less. They made everything modular. Probably never thought anyone would dare steal their ships." Walker grinned behind his helmet. "Their arrogance is our advantage." In the Jupiter Defense Zone, Captain Rogers watched as his retrofitted fleet grew stronger. Each captured Empire ship was quickly stripped, studied, and its technology adapted for human use. But unlike the Empire, humans kept their reliable kinetic weapons alongside the energy-based ones. "Multiple Empire ships detecting," called out his sensor officer. "They're using their new shield configuration." Rogers smiled. "Deploy the new hybrid weapons. Let's show them what happens when human ingenuity meets alien tech." His ships opened fire. The first salvo was traditional railgun rounds, simple tungsten rods accelerated to near-light speed. As expected, the Empire's new shields flickered but held. Then came the second wave, captured Empire energy weapons modified by human engineers to fire in sync with the kinetic rounds. The combination was devastating. The energy weapons created momentary holes in the enemy shields, allowing the kinetic rounds to pass through unimpeded. Empire ships began exploding one after another. In his command ship, Supreme Commander Marcus watched in horror as the humans demonstrated yet another new capability. "How?" he demanded. "How are they adapting so quickly?" Lord Reed, who had been studying human history, spoke quietly. "Sir, I found something disturbing. These humans, their entire history is an arms race against themselves. Every major technology they've developed was first used for war. They don't think like us. They don't see technology as an end in itself. They see it as a tool, something to be constantly improved and adapted." On Earth, Director Collins received new data from her AI systems. They had completely mapped the Empire's command and control networks. Their encryption, supposedly unbreakable, had fallen to quantum computers the humans had developed decades ago for their own wars. "Send the signal," she ordered. "Let's show them what real electronic warfare looks like." Across the solar system, Empire ships suddenly lost contact with each other. Their advanced targeting systems went dark. Navigation computers displayed false information. The mighty Empire fleet was reduced to using basic visual targeting and manual controls. Admiral Stone watched from his command center as chaos spread through the enemy fleet. "Send word to all commands," he ordered. "Phase 3 begins now. Show them why humanity's greatest strength isn't our weapons or our technology. It's our ability to learn, adapt, and overcome." The Empire had started this war believing their superior technology would guarantee victory. Instead, they were facing an enemy that treated every defeat as a learning opportunity, every captured ship as a chance to grow stronger, and every battle as a chance to improve. They were facing humanity, and humanity had just gotten started. Supreme Commander Marcus stood on the bridge of his new flagship, watching as the Empire's ultimate weapon arrived through hyperspace. The planet killer fleet was massive 50 ships, each carrying enough firepower to crack a world in half. In 10,000 years, no species had ever survived an encounter with these ships. "Send the message," he ordered. "Let's see how brave these humans are now." On Earth, Admiral Stone watched the transmission with his command staff. The message was simple: surrender immediately, or Earth would be destroyed. The Empire's planet-killer fleet demonstrated their power by shattering Mars's smallest moon, Deimos, into 1,000,000 pieces. "Sir," Lieutenant Baker's voice was steady despite the devastating display. "Ghost Fleet reports they are in position." Stone nodded. In the darkness of space, Commander Wilson's stealth ships waited silently. The Empire still hadn't detected the massive fleet hiding in plain sight, their heat signatures masked by advanced cooling systems that humans had perfected long ago for submarine warfare. "They still think we built our bases on planets," Stone said quietly. "Show them how wrong they are." Across the solar system, thousands of asteroids suddenly changed course. For decades, humans had been hollowing out these space rocks, turning them into hidden bases and mobile fortresses. Now, they'd moved as one, their engines pushing them toward the Empire fleet. Marcus laughed when he saw the asteroids moving. "They think they can ram our ships with rocks. Our shields will." His voice trailed off as the asteroids opened fire. Each one was bristling with weapons, both human rail guns and modified Empire energy cannons. The planet-killer fleet, designed for single massive strikes against planetary targets, found itself surrounded by thousands of small, agile enemies. "Impossible," Marcus screamed as the first planet-killer exploded. "These are just rocks." "Sir," Lord Reed's voice was grim, "the humans, they've been lying to us from the start. They never built their military bases on planets. Everything we've been targeting, they were all decoys." In her hidden command center deep inside a hollowed-out asteroid, Commander Wilson watched as her ghost fleet struck from behind. The Empire ships, distracted by the asteroid bases, never saw the stealth vessels approaching. Hybrid weapons, combinations of kinetic rounds and energy beams, tore through their supposedly impenetrable shields. "Status report," Wilson commanded. 15 planet killers destroyed," her tactical officer reported. "The rest are falling back to regroup. They're having trouble coordinating without their normal communication systems." Director Collins' cyber warfare teams had made sure of that. The Empire's advanced quantum communications were being jammed by human systems that had been designed to survive a nuclear apocalypse. "New energy readings," Baker shouted in Earth's command center. "They're charging their main weapons." Stone remained calm. "Deploy the radiation defense screens." The planet killers fired, their beams of pure energy striking Earth's atmosphere. But instead of burning through to the surface, the energy dispersed harmlessly across a web of electromagnetic fields. Technology humans had developed to survive their own nuclear wars. In space, the battle continued to go badly for the Empire. Their mighty planet killers, never designed for ship-to-ship combat, were being picked apart by swarms of smaller vessels. The asteroids kept coming, their weapons never falling silent. "Sir," Lord Reed reported to Marcus, "we're picking up strange readings from the human ships. Their crews, they're surviving radiation levels that should be lethal." Marcus stared in horror as another planet killer exploded. "What are these creatures?" The answer came as human forces pushed forward, driving the Empire fleet back. These were beings who had evolved on a world with far higher background radiation than the Empire species, who had survived their own nuclear weapons, who had turned their entire solar system into a fortress while letting their enemies believe they were primitive planet-bound savages. These were humans, and they had just destroyed the Empire's ultimate weapon. The massive hangar bay of the asteroid base opened slowly, revealing Earth's newest weapon. The mech units stood in rows, their dark armor absorbing the dim light. Each stood 3 stories tall, combining Empire energy technology with human engineering. Inside the command center, General Thompson watched as veteran pilots climbed into their machines. "Remember your training," He spoke into the comm system. These suits are everything we learned from tank warfare, fighter combat, and infantry tactics combined into one package. Show them what human pilots can do. The Empire fleet never expected the attack that came next. Hundreds of mech units launched from hidden bases, their engines flaring as they moved with impossible grace through space. Empire gunners, used to targeting large ships, found themselves trying to hit targets that moved like human soldiers in zero gravity. What kind of weapons are these? Supreme Commander Marcus demanded as he watched another of his ships torn apart by mech units. The human machines were cutting through hull armor with energy blades, planting explosives in vital areas, and disappearing before counterattacks could land. Lord Reed studied the sensor readings. "Sir, they're using our own shield technology, but they've modified it. Each suit has the defensive capability of a small warship, but compressed into a human-sized package. The power requirements should be impossible, but these humans keep doing the impossible," Marcus finished, his voice bitter. On Earth, Director Collins monitored the space battle through her quantum AI networks. The Empire's communications were completely compromised now. Every order they sent was intercepted, every tactical plan revealed before it could be executed. "Ma'am," one of her technicians called out, "we're detecting unusual signals from some of the Empire ships. It looks like their warrior caste is trying to communicate directly with our forces." Collins smiled. This was exactly what they had predicted. The Empire's warrior caste, bred for combat, had begun to respect human fighting prowess. Now they were reaching out, warrior to warrior. Admiral Stone received the reports with satisfaction. "Open a channel to the Empire ships that sent those signals. Let's show them there's a better way than blind obedience to their leadership." In the space around Saturn, Captain Rogers watched as several Empire ships suddenly turned their weapons on their own fleet. The warrior caste had made their choice. They would rather fight alongside worthy opponents than continue serving leaders who had led them into disaster. "All ships, protect our new allies," Rogers ordered. "Show them what it means to fight alongside humans." The battle that followed was unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. Human mech units fought alongside Empire warriors, their different combat styles complementing each other perfectly. The remaining loyal Empire ships found themselves facing an enemy that knew all their tactics and could counter every move. "Sir," Lord Reed reported to Marcus, 3 more systems have declared their independence from the Empire. They're seeking alliance with Earth." Marcus slumped in his command chair. The mighty Empire, undefeated for 10,000 years, was being torn apart by a species that hadn't even achieved faster-than-light travel when the war began. In her mech unit, Lieutenant Foster led her squad through the wreckage of another Empire dreadnought. The machine responded to her movements like it was part of her own body, a perfect fusion of human skill and Empire technology. They had learned so much from studying the Empire's weapons, and they had improved upon every single one. "All units," General Thompson's voice came through the comm. "Prepare for the next phase. The Empire's core worlds are our next target." The tide of war had turned completely. Humanity wasn't just fighting back anymore. They were taking the fight to the enemy. The Empire had started this war thinking they were the teachers, coming to show a primitive species their place in the galaxy. Instead, humanity had become the teacher, showing the galaxy what happened when you combine determination, adaptability, and the will to survive. The Empire was about to learn its final lesson. The Empire's capital world looked nothing like Earth. 3 suns cast their light on crystal spires that reached into the clouds. But to the human forces approaching the system, it was just another battlefield, one they had prepared for. Admiral Stone stood on the bridge of his flagship, now a hybrid vessel combining the best of human and Empire technology. The ship had started life as an Empire dreadnought, but human engineers had transformed it into something new, something that made even their Empire allies hear in awe. "Status report on the invasion fleet," Stone commanded. "All units in position, sir," Lieutenant Baker reported. "The Ghost Fleet is in place behind their sensor nets, Mech units are ready for deployment. Our Empire allies have provided the latest defense codes. In his command bunker on the capital world, Supreme Commander Marcus watched his empire crumble. 50 systems had already declared independence. The warrior caste had largely sided with the humans. Even his own council was demanding his resignation. "My lord," Lord Reed spoke quietly, "the humans have breached the outer defense line. But they're not attacking civilian targets. They're being selective, precise." Marcus laughed bitterly. "Of course they are. They're showing the galaxy they're better rulers than we ever were." In space, Captain Rogers led the first wave of attacks. His ships, once modified submarines, were now among the most advanced vessels in the galaxy. But they still used the same tactics that had served humanity well from the start: stealth, precision, and overwhelming force when needed. "All ships, commence attack pattern Omega," Rogers ordered. "Disable their communications first, then their power grid. Minimal civilian casualties." The battle for the capital system had begun. Human ships seemed to appear from nowhere, striking critical targets and vanishing again. Mech units deployed from stealth ships, their pilots moving with impossible skill in the alien gravity. "Sir," one of Marcus's officers reported, "we're detecting human soldiers on the ground. They're fighting in the acid storms, without protective gear." Lord Reed checked the readings himself. The humans had modified their own bodies using their genetic engineering technology. They could now survive in environments that would kill most species in seconds. "They've adapted themselves to fight anywhere," Reed whispered, "just like they adapted their technology. There's nowhere they can't take the battle." In orbit, Director Collins coordinated the cyber warfare campaign. The Empire's remaining defense systems were falling one by one, their AIs no match for human quantum computers. Earth's digital weapons had evolved far beyond what anyone thought possible. "Ma'am," a technician called out, "we're detecting mass surrenders across the system. Military bases are lowering their shields. Civilian authorities are requesting terms." Collins nodded. "Send in the diplomatic teams. Show them we can be merciful in victory." The human advance was unstoppable. Where they faced resistance, they struck with overwhelming force. Where they found surrender, they showed mercy. Planets that had lived under Empire control for thousands of years watched in amazement as human forces defeated their oppressors while minimizing civilian casualties. Supreme Commander Marcus made his final transmission to the Empire Council. "We were wrong," he admitted, his voice heavy with defeat. "We thought we were the pinnacle of evolution, the ultimate power in the galaxy. But these humans, they never stopped evolving, never stopped improving. We stagnated in our power, while they grew stronger through adversity." As human forces secured the capital world, Admiral Stone received a message from Earth. The war was effectively over. The Empire, which had ruled the galaxy for 10,000 years, had been broken in less than 1 year by a species they had dismissed as primitives. "Send word to all commands," Stone ordered. "The fighting stops now. It's time to show the galaxy that humans know how to build peace as well as we know how to wage war." The Empire had started this conflict believing they were invincible. Instead, they had learned that humanity's greatest strength wasn't their weapons or technology. It was their unrelenting drive to overcome any challenge, adapt to any situation, and prevail against any odds. 1 year after the first Empire ship entered Earth's solar system, Admiral Stone stood in the Grand Council chamber of the former Empire's capital. The massive room, designed to showcase the Empire's power, now hosted representatives from 100 different species. Many had been Empire slaves for thousands of years. Now they were free. "The terms are simple," Stone addressed the gathered representatives. "Earth doesn't want an empire. We want allies, partners, friends. Every species here will have an equal voice in the new Galactic Council." In orbit above the capital, Captain Rogers watched from his ship as hundreds of vessels from different worlds moved peacefully through space. Former Empire ships flew alongside human vessels, their crews working together. The warrior caste had integrated seamlessly with human military forces, each learning from the other. "Hard to believe it's really over," Baker said, standing beside Rogers on the bridge. Rogers smiled. "The war is over. The real work is just beginning." On Earth, Director Collins supervised the sharing of human technology with other species. The Empire had hoarded knowledge, keeping their subject races dependent. Humanity took the opposite approach, freely sharing innovations while learning from their new allies. The quantum communication network is now operational across 50 systems. A technician reported. "Our allies are amazed at how stable it is." "Because we built it to survive wars," Collins replied. "Everything we made had to work under the worst conditions. That's what made us strong." In a quiet garden on the capital world, Lord Reed met with General Thompson. The former Empire advisor had become a key figure in building bridges between humans and other species. "Your people continue to surprise us," Reed said, watching human children playing with young aliens in the distance. "We thought you would punish us, rule us as we ruled others. Instead, we remembered our own history," Thompson finished. "Earth had its share of empires. We learned the hard way that cooperation works better than domination." The changes spread across the galaxy. Worlds that had been stripped of resources under Empire rule received help rebuilding. Human genetic engineering helped species adapt to their damaged environments. Empire technology, improved by human innovation, was used to restore rather than destroy. Supreme Commander Marcus, now a prisoner of war, watched news broadcasts from his comfortable but secure quarters. He saw human ships helping former Empire worlds, human doctors treating the sick, human teachers sharing knowledge freely. "I still don't understand," he told his guards. "You have the power to rule everything. Why share it?" "Because that's not who we are," Admiral Stone answered, entering the room. "We fought you because we had to. We help others because we choose to. That's humanity's real strength. Not our weapons or technology, but our ability to learn from our mistakes and grow." In the new Galactic Council chamber, designed to be welcoming rather than intimidating, representatives from Earth sat alongside beings from 100 worlds. Former Empire planets, independent systems, and newly freed species all had equal votes. "The galaxy enters a new age," the Council speaker announced. "Not one of empire and domination, but of cooperation and mutual growth. And we have humanity to thank for showing us the way." Director Collins, watching from Earth, smiled as she received the transmission. Her AI networks were already helping coordinate trade, prevent conflicts, and share knowledge across thousands of light years. But unlike the Empire's controlling systems, these networks were built on transparency and trust. Captain Rogers looked out at the stars from his ship's viewport one last time before setting course for Earth. The galaxy had changed forever, and humanity had changed with it. They had gone from a single system species to a major galactic power in 1 year. But they hadn't done it through conquest like the Empire. They had done it by staying true to the best parts of human nature: adaptability, innovation, determination, and most importantly, the ability to learn from the past while working toward a better future. The Empire had started a war expecting to find primitives. Instead, they had awakened humanity's potential and helped create something new. A galaxy where strength came from cooperation, not conquest. Where power was shared, not hoarded. They had created a future worth fighting for.